So, dear friends and colleagues from all over the world, before I start, I would like to share something with you what is very personal. Because this morning is very, very special for me, not only because I'm on this wonderful stage with all of you. 20 years ago, exactly 20 years ago, on the 6th of June 2006, I gave a birth to a wonderful girl. I became mother of Nell, who some of you know. And it's such an amazing synchronicity for me that exactly 20 years after this blessing for me and my husband, who is there here with me as well today, that I'm having a lecture about longevity, about life extension. Isn't it wonderful? For me, it's before I start my lecture, I would like very briefly to introduce myself. As we've heard, I'm expert in psychosomatics and somatopsychology. This is my background. But the ocean I love is definitely energy and information medicine. I live and work in Poland, but also since 3 years I live in Spain, and Spain gives me a lot of joy, a lot of feeling being alive. That's why I love to spend time there more and more. But my holistic therapy practice I have in Postdam in Poland, where I support people with TimeWaver Pro, TimeWaver Frequency, TimeWaver McMakin, since more than 10 years already. I wrote a book about information and energy medicine just to invite people in Poland to open their mind and hearts for this holistic approach. It was published 2022, and I had the huge honor to get the foreword of Markus Schmieke. And besides the Polish Association of Information and Energy Medicine, what is for me important is water and the science of water. Here on the picture you can see my dear friend and great scientist, Professor Gerard Pollack, who was for me and still is a huge inspiration in the field of water research. This year I had the honor to be invited to be advisory board of a World Water Association. So, we will be speaking today in my lecture about Alchemy of Longevity. But first we have to say, what is alchemy? Alchemy is a cross-cultural wisdom, but also philosophical tradition developed through contributions from many, many cultures from around the world. We can actually say that alchemy is the art form of liberating something from its fixed physical properties. There are two main goals of alchemy. First is making gold, but the second is elixir of life. And alchemists sought transmutations of metals and various forms of life-extending or healing substances, often called the elixir of life. Actually, we can say that alchemical transformation became a symbol of inner transformation, wisdom, and spiritual purification. We came here today to ask a very crucial question: how to restore order in human beings, whether through water, coherence, mission, information, frequencies, self-love, as Michaela pointed so beautifully, and many more. But I think first of all, before we ask this question and start looking for answer, we can already look at ourselves and see what we already know about human beings. From my point of view, human being is living matter, unique. Each of you is unique. There is no other Michaela, no other Thomas, not other Brigitte. We are also self-regulating beings, complex. And we can also say we are dynamic quantum systems or even dynamic quantum processes. Human beings are multidimensional, and we know it for sure. We are interconnected, conscious, and super coherent water-based matrix. So put it in one, all in one, we can say we are bio, electro, informational, but also spiritual and eternal beings. How do you like it? Are we not wonderful? Isn't it a miracle, each of you here? I think it is. So, what if longevity, I ask a question because, like Michaela, I love to ask questions. They open the space. What if longevity is the ability to maintain coherence in a complex system made of water, guided by purpose and influenced by frequencies and information? We can look at the alchemy of longevity from the 21st century point of view. We can say that water is a hardware. Coherence can we call as operating system. Our mission could be a program, and TimeWaver Pro can we call as software diagnostic. Additionally, we have also frequencies, and microcurrent frequencies could be signal inputs and repair tools. But is longevity only about the length of our life? No, it isn't. Very important, if not crucial, is the quality of it. And here I would like to quote Viktor Frankl. I was talking about his approach 2 years ago on the stage of TimeWaver World. So Viktor Frankl found out that ultimately being human means to be responsible for the fulfillment of that sense that is waiting to be fulfilled by him and only by him. Viktor Frankl believed that humans are motivated by something called will to meaning, which is the desire to find meaning in life. When we will find out today that coherence is also connected with meaning, it will make sense even more. So Viktor Frankl argued that life can have meaning even in the most challenging of circumstances, and that the motivation for living comes from finding that meaning. Sense of mission and meaning in life reduces also the internal noise and supports physiological coherence. Here you have some examples. How can you work with your clients on the way to find the meaning for them? Actually, as a companion, because the task belongs not to you, it belongs to them. You have here a focus example. I identify and let go of all emotional and mental blockages that prevent me to live a meaningful and happy life. I will not go through all the databases I have here for you, because in the break you can approach me and I will just tell you more about it, or you can send me an email and I will send you the presentation or the slides. What I recommend are few databases. The database Resolve from the psychological level, but also holistic personality development and individual competence from psychological level. You can also use the spiritual level, because over there you have wonderful meditative affirmations, additionally to the 12 affirmations you got to know today. And also from the informational level, My Beloved Essences, Bachflower Essences. So the more coherent your mental state is, the more responsive is your body to any kind of support. Speaking about life and being Polish, it's obvious for me to quote Professor Włodzimierz Sedlak, our Polish Tesla, because I call him Polish Tesla. He said that bioelectronics perceives a human being as a system composed of metabolism and electronic processes, quantum mechanically coupled. This connection is the condition and expression of life. Imagine that this guy, Professor Sedlak, wrote it in the 60s. 70 years ago, he was aware of that. And we are 70 years in the future of him, let's put it in this way on the timeline, and still people are wondering about this fact. You are laughing, yes. We can only laugh and do our job. Yes, sure. Quoting the second scientist, who is a huge, huge inspiration for me, because Albert Szent-Georgi looked at water in the way is really in resonance with me. He said, and he was a Hungarian biochemist and Nobel Prize laureate, he said that life is water dancing to the tune of solids. These words were actually a huge inspiration for people in the last 70, 60 years, but these words are mostly interpreted as a description of a biological process, that water is remaining in constant motion, organized by cellular structures, proteins, etc. But is it really only about the mechanism and control? Or does this metaphor of dance, in the context of the nature of water, reveals something far more subtle. The dance is not an act of submission. What is dance? Who likes to dance here? So you know that water is a relationship. Water is coherence. The dance, you see. I have so much water in my heart that there's water all around. The dance is about a relationship, about the coherence, about communication. When I was deep in my salsa practice, because I love to dance salsa en España, hola España, I was getting to know from my dance teacher, salsa teacher, yes, it's a relation. So it's like water. There is a follower, there is a leader. De verdad. De verdad. So it's a communication and it's a language of its own. We are water. And every living cell, whether of a tree, of a bee, of a human being, whether a nerve cell, we are 70 to 80% water. And when we look at it from the perspective of numbers of molecules, 99 molecules on 100 are water molecules. However, this is not water, what we know from the lake, river, or a tap. In living organism, H2O, exposed to infrared radiation, transitions into the fourth state of water by hydrophilic surfaces. These are surfaces which like water very much. And we got so-called easy water, exclusion zone water, H3O2, what we know from Jerry Pollack and before him from Gilbert Link. The fourth state of water, besides, is ordered, has hexagonal structure, arranged in layers. The consistency of this fourth state of water is a liquid crystal, and it has higher viscosity. For those of you who would like to dive more into water, I prepared this slide where you have evidence that exclusion zone water is physically different from a bulk water, with few papers below. So our body is an electromagnetic system. While being matter, simultaneously functions like a network of semiconductors. This guy on the picture with me is Dr. James Oshman. I had the honor to meet him 2019, and I really recommend to read at least one book of him if you are interested in energy medicine, in coherence, in water, in the quantum biology as well. So the water in ourselves is not there just by chance, without a reason. Because water molecules form structures, and that structures cause that tissues become what? They become semiconductors, which enables the efficient flow of electrical impulses in our body. And what is equally important, the flow of information. In 1988, Dr. Jacques Benveniste and his team published a paper in the scientific journal Nature, claiming that water has memory. This research was confirmed by 5 independent scientists from all over the world based on studies conducted in their own laboratories. imagine 1988. Was the world applauding for him? Not much. But here we are. There was Professor Luc Montagnier, who not only confirmed Benveniste's research, the French Nobel Prize laureate went even further, claiming to demonstrate that water structures can act as carriers of DNA information, originating, for example, from microorganisms. It was something that was huge evidence, really scientific evidence that water has memory. Here on the picture you can see Professor Luc Montagnier and Giuseppe Vitiello, who was quoted today by Marcus. I was very fortunate that in the Water Conference 2018, where I came to listen more about water, I had the opportunity to meet those two wonderful scientists. And I will be grateful to Dr. Beatrice Milbert. You can see by my side that she invited me for that dinner this wonderful evening, what I will remember to the end of my life. So, water has the ability to communicate with its surroundings and acquire information from them. Water can receive, store, and transmit information. Why I'm talking about water for so long? Because water is about life, it's about longevity. That's why I would like to share with you, or to invite you to learn yourself even more and even deeper. The term water coherence we actually know from Professor Emilio Del Giudice and Giuliano Preparata. Those were two Italian scientists who opened the wonderful space of the water coherence science. Professor Emilio Del Giudice said that living matter is a super coherent water-based matrix. And more than that, that water forms coherent domains which are responsive to electromagnetic signals. So from the perspective of quantum electrodynamics, water coherence refers to a theory that liquid water contains large regions of molecules oscillating in a synchronized quantum state called coherence domains. It sounds a little bit complicated. So I put it in few slides very simple. What about is water coherence in living organisms? It's about cycle, about rhythm, and about resonance. The coherence of molecules suggests that the entire mass of molecules moves without collision, more like formation of dancers or a school of fish than a crowd. So it moves like one. It's not this molecule or that. It's like you can see the birds flying above of you. It's like one organism. For me, what was very fascinating was that every stimulus, imagine, every stimulus is perceived immediately by the entire coherent system. You know what does it mean? It means that when I touch my head here, my feet knows it immediately. immediately. It's coherence. It's even faster than the nervous system. And more than that, a coherent system responds to a stimulus based on what? Based on the meaning that stimulus has for the system. Based on the meaning. There is a story when I was 3 years old. I went to playground with my mom. I was first child. I couldn't fight. I was 3 or 4, and a boy hit me on the playground in my head. I was shocked. I started to cry. 1 or 2 weeks later, I came back. The boy wanted to hit me again. What I did, who responded? Dobrosia, little Dobrosia. Dobrosia is the short form of Dobrosława. No. Water in me responded. And you can imagine what happened 1 week later when he wanted to hit me again. I took something what I had and I did like, yeah, water coherence. I was not thinking about it because what the water in me did, it responded based on the meaning that the stimulus had for me. Basta. Punto. So, if water, question, if water in living matter is structured, responsive and coherent, imagine what targeted frequencies can potentially do and how can they interact with the eternal environment of human beings. I never could actually choose if I love more TimeWaver Pro or TimeWaver Frequency or TimeWaver McMakin. I love them 3 equally. Since 2017, I have been working with frequency, with TimeWaver Frequency, and then 2018 came additionally TimeWaver McMakin. And it was actually the missing part of the whole for me. 2024, I was assistant of Karol McMakin in Poland while core seminar. And 2025, I participated in instructor training in Rome. Because for me, learning about frequencies and this another approach was something I just couldn't miss. And it has a lot to do also with water. What we know, before I show you what I found out when I informed water with frequencies, we know also, and it's very important while we are talking about frequencies, that our water field cells are also batteries. And like each battery, they need what? They need to be charged. In the 16th Water Conference on the Physics, Chemistry and Biology of Water in Lisbon, 2024, I asked the question, do microcurrent frequencies are able to create fault state of water in living matter? I wanted, before I asked the question on that stage, I asked myself this question, 2017, 2018. If we are full of water, how water responds to microcurrent frequencies? Because in my practice then, while these all 10 years, I experience how my clients respond. And believe me, they respond very much. But I wanted to see how water responds. What I did was crystallography. I learned 2022 from Vida Austin how we can make experiments at home with symbols, with words, with even thoughts to influence water in Petri dish and put it in the freezer. But I wanted to see how water responds when I first inform it with frequencies. What I did was, tap water samples were exposed to a specific pairs of microcurrent frequencies. I put 4 electrodes, channel A plus minus, channel B plus minus, with alligator clips, and I put it into the vase with water. It was tap water, because sometimes people are asking me, was it structured before? No, it was a regular tap water. And I ran various pairs of frequencies for a period of time, between 3 minutes and 20 minutes, because I wanted to see if time matters. Each time when I changed the pair of frequencies, I took new water sample. After exposing the water sample to the specific microcurrent frequencies pairs, I used a silver spoon to pour the water from the vase to the Petri dish, just 1 millimeter high. Then I put the Petri dish into the freezer and waited approximately 3 minutes before taking the Petri dish out of the freezer. This is what I found out. On the left side, you can see ordinary tap water with no frequency treatment. On the other side, you can see, in this case, water after having this frequency pair, what is 40 Hertz, what stands for inflammation, reducing inflammation, and 10 Hertz for spinal cord. When I showed it to Vida Austin, she told me that there are already few hydroglyphs seen by her, recognized by her. Hydroglyphs are, we can say, signs of water which are giving us information back from water. She was very, very amazed what I presented her, and she wanted actually to get to know more. Here you can see water in Petri dish after 970, emotional component, and 33, what stands for the heart. And on the third picture, we have reducing inflammation and immune system. We can see the difference, don't we? It's huge. Where is order? Where is structure? Where is coherence? But there is also one case study, what I briefly want to show you. Why? Because it's a Petri dish, so we can see it. But where is the coherence in a living matter? Not in a Petri dish, but alive, after microcurrent frequencies. I want to present you a case study of a 3rd-degree burn, a belly scalded with boiling water. I will go very briefly through that because these pictures are not nice. The day first of the accident. This is one day after, and before I go further, you could see that the treatment with microcurrent was every day. Actually, until the 14th day after the accident, and then each second day, 1 hour. 3rd day, 5th day, 6th day, 8th day, 9th day. On the 9th day, what was possible? Swimming in the sea was possible already. after third-degree burn, imagine, 9 days after it. Who saw before a third-degree burn of you? You know what challenging it is. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 9 days. Which protocol I used from TimeWaver frequency McMakin? Soft tissue, sunburn, wounds, trauma, concussion. But I run also 1 to 4 on the 355. It's for me. Hello? No, I'm not done yet. 21st day, 2 months, 2 years. Nothing at all. No scar, no sign, no color. Perfect. So if microcurrent frequencies can take care of a third-degree burn in 10 days, imagine what is possible in case of a not damaged tissue. Microcurrent frequencies as a practical tool are able, what we can see, to restore coherence, where the system has become disorganized. Putting everything together, Alchemy of Longevity, water as a medium, carrier, but also conscious being, what I couldn't expand today more, but I perceive water also as a conscious being. Coherence as an organizing principle, mission as stabilizing direction, TimeWaver Pro informational interaction, and microcurrent frequency as applied quantum biophysics. The Alchemy of Longevity, we have to look at it from many different ways. I showed you only a part because there are also other things which are important. We don't just age because time passes, what we already could hear from Michaela. No, we age when the coherence is lost. And today we are beginning to understand how to restore it. Besides that, I would like you to remember one thing. You are water. Water science is about you. Learning about water, you discover who you are. I would like to invite you very much to my webinar free of charge on 19th of June at 7 p.m. European time. You can sign per email, which you will find at the end, or you can find me on Facebook. It will be in English, especially for you guys, because I had this webinar 2 weeks ago in Polish. Besides, I invite you to my retreat. Only 6 places are available. Retreat when we find who we are. I know where I'm going because I know who I am. Back to yourself from feeling through water to consciousness. In Javier in Spain from the 9th to 15th August. But also to TimeWaver Masterclass Level 1 in November in English. And for those of you who register here in the TimeWaver World, I have 20% discount. Then we have Level 2 from the 19th November to 22nd November. You are cordially invited to dive deeper in the TimeWaver science. We will be talking about TimeWaver Pro, frequency, and McMakin. This is the wonderful location where you are invited in. And I would like to thank you for your presence and underline that the most important thing was actually that what we very seldom hear on the stages, and it is the quality of presence with other people and with ourselves. And I wish you from my heart that every day when you wake up, you have this thought, how can I go deeper and find this quality of my being with others and with myself? Thank you very much. Danke.